Hey yo, salute to all my subscribers. Special shout out to everybody else passing through. YouTube, what's good? Alright, so if y'all seeing the title, I just came through real quick to talk to y'all about the term you see in the title, which is humble. So I'm a realist. Anybody who follows my platform, who has heard me talk on different subjects, different topics, I'm not shy about saying it. I say it often. I'm a realist, a bit of a literalist. Don't know if that's a word, but it sounds good. Basically, in short, words have meanings, and how I do what I do, how I get through life, how I get through my different interactions with people who I mix it up with. I use very specific words in conversations for a reason. And a lot of people either skim past words or they ignore certain words, or they use those words in totally different ways from how they're meant to be used. What I actually noticed is, and I mentioned this before too, I actually noticed that most people will use words more as a figure of speech than they use them as what their dictionary definitions dictate they should be used for. And we're going to get into that when we start talking about what the title is pertaining to the word humble. So society tells us that in order for us to fit in with, quote unquote civilized society, in order for us to be looked at as being well mannered, being respectable, being tolerable, and being able to be around people and not make people uncomfortable and not make people look at us, in a way, is for us to carry ourselves in a certain way. And you always hear terms thrown around like arrogance, confidence, insecurity, humble, and most people would say that they don't take well to arrogant people or people who they perceive to be arrogant. Most people would say that they would want people that they interact with to have a humble approach, and how they deal with people, how they, talk about and deal with, whatever their strengths or skill sets or specialties are. People would agree, the general consensus would say, most people want you to be humble. And so most people follow that model and they say, I'm a humble person, and they try not to brag too much or boast too much about whatever it is they have going on. But here's my problem, and you'll find this too if you break down a lot of what society tells us we should be and tells us how we should act and how we should interact and how we should treat each other. It's really bullshit too if you think about it. And there's a lot of different terms, but right now we're going to focus on this one. Hold on. So, the reason why the title is Fuck Being Humble, Live Your Best Life is because I'm going to read what the dictionary's definition of the word humble is. I'm going to read what the adjective is, and then I'm going to read what the verb form is. And I'm going to talk about why I don't live my life as necessarily a humble person. I wouldn't consider myself to be arrogant because I feel like that has an extreme negative connotation. And I don't think that that is necessarily the opposite of humble. Not the way that I read the dictionary's definition, but that's just me. So here's how the dictionary defines humble. The adjective form is having or showing a modest or low estimate of one's own importance, a low social, administrative, or political rank. And the verb form is lower in dignity or importance. So hold on. Lower in dignity or importance. So in other words, how I read that. If I walk around being a humble person, making people feel comfortable and that I'm humble and not, overconfident, not arrogant, if I go out of my way to make people feel like I'm a humble person, is that really a good thing? If we're going by what the dictionary says humble is, being of low dignity or importance, underestimating your value or your worth. How is that in any way, shape, or form conducive to us living our best lives? I know for me as a person, it's not. So if if I were to be proud of the person I am, or proud of what my accomplishments are, proud of what, whatever current things I have going on in my life, and I speak on those things, because we also know, right, it's just truth that words have power, that what you speak out into the universe is, what has the power to become reality. And so if that's true, if all these things are true, why would I not want to speak the most out about what I have going on, what things I'm putting my hard work, time, and energy into to see those different things manifest? Why would I not speak those things out? What really is a person who is arrogant? What really is a person who's people would say overconfident? There's nothing in this universe, nothing in this world that we live in that you can accomplish or ever hope to accomplish if you don't have confidence. Like, you can have all the skill sets, you can have all the smarts, you can have all the looks, you can have everything you may need to have in whatever respective field you are in, or for whatever thing you're trying to accomplish. Like, if you are someone who is trying to, hopefully one day win a beauty pageant, and you have all the looks to do it, or if you're someone who's aspiring to be a bodybuilder and you have all the strength in the world and you're in the gym every day like you should, or whatever is needed in order for you, whatever that regiment calls for in order for you to build your body up in that way for that purpose. Or if you're into sports, or if you're, trying to win a Nobel Prize, or if you're trying to win a Pulitzer, whatever it is that your field is, you can have all of the skill sets needed to adequately accomplish those goals that you may have, however lofty. But if you don't have confidence, more than likely you're not going to achieve any of those goals. So it baffles me that in a world, especially a world the way the world exists today, in the world that we live in, you need confidence. It's a very important part of any person's repertoire of things that you will want to have, as you move through different stages of career, and aspirations, goals, dreams. But then if a person feels like you have just a little bit too much, now you're getting into a shady territory where you're looked at as being overconfident, or you're looked at as being arrogant. Why? See, to me, the negative connotation in arrogance is that if I take whatever my strengths are and then I use those strengths to belittle or to diminish someone else's value. And that's an extreme. But I don't think being confident, and I don't think speaking on that confidence and boosting yourself up and speaking those things out in order for those things to manifest faster, and in order for you to actually make it real that these are the things that you actually have going on, I don't see that as being a negative. I don't see how anyone could see that as being a negative. Why should you have to shrink back, downplay yourself and or whatever it is you have going on, just because if you don't go out of your way to show that you're modest, people are going to think that you're overly confident or that you're arrogant? Fuck it. You get one life, you get one chance to pass through this life, you get one chance to make something out of this life before you leave here. So why the fuck would you downplay anything that you accomplish, or anything that you have the potential to accomplish, just so that a handful of people who probably don't have the confidence they need to achieve their dreams and their goals, just so that they can feel comfortable in a room next to you? It doesn't make any sense. Because let's be real. The reason why society tells us to be humble is because the majority, see, this shit is all designed for a reason. Everything is situated the way that it's supposed to be. Most people are not confident. Most people need reassurance from others to boost their confidence. That's not pure confidence. Most people are insecure. And while we all have insecurities, there's a difference in having insecurities is just part of being human, and just being overall insecure and not having any faith or confidence in yourself or your gifts or talents whatsoever. There's a difference there. There's definitely a discrepancy between just being human and having some faults or things that you wish were better about yourself, and then going to the other end of that spectrum, and just having no type of confidence at all. That's a whole different thing. And I think the people who become uncomfortable with confident people, with people who boost themselves up, don't need that outside energy to do that. I think those people are a little bit envious of the fact that people like me, people like, I'm sure some of you who are watching this video right now, that makes people uncomfortable if they don't have that same ability to do that. And if people don't have the same ability to do the things that you're able to do, or that the next person is able to do, that makes them uncomfortable. And so society wants us to be, as a form of courtesy, I guess, as a way of not throwing that power that we have, that strength, not throwing that in other people's face, so that we don't make them feel less about themselves. But I say, I shouldn't have to do that. If for whatever reason, your experiences, you had a hard life, or, you just weren't raised and loved and built up a certain way, so you don't know how to motivate yourself in that way. I have all sympathy in the world for a person from that type of situation. But the best way for you to learn how to live the best life you can live is to break that cycle. And I think, me being the best person that I could be and speaking that and walking confidently in that will do more to benefit the people around me than it will for me to downplay myself, to be modest. If I'm going by what the dictionary says modest is, I don't want no parts of that. So if people think that I'm arrogant, if people think that I'm overly confident, which I don't think I give off those vibes, because for the most part, I don't really speak on certain things. I just do it. That's the moniker of this platform. That's the moniker I live by. And when you see in my description box of all of my videos, on every piece of content that I upload, whether it be my podcast, my YouTube channel, or any of my social media platforms, when you see that AMC sign at the bottom of the description in any of my videos, any of my blogs, any of my podcast episodes, that AMC stands for something. That means actions motivate consistency. That's what the moniker that I stand on and what this platform is built on. Because I will speak about what I have going on, and I'll speak it into existence, because it feels good to work hard at something and actually be able to talk about it and make it more real by speaking it out into the world. But for the most part, I don't really speak on a lot of shit. I just do, and then it comes out and it goes where it needs to go, and then I take it from there. But as far as this humble shit, I think we really need to start paying attention to what words really mean, and we need to start rethinking and retraining and re-educating ourselves, and to just asking the question, why for so long has society wanted us to live by these certain rules and call it, or certain guidelines, and then call it, being well-mannered, or call it being civil, or being courteous, or whatever it is. I think anything that is meant to belittle you, anything that is meant to diminish your light, your value, your ability, anything that is meant to make you less dignified, or underestimate or devalue, what you are, your standing, your rank, especially when it's you yourself. I don't think that's something that should be subscribed to. I don't subscribe to it, and I hope that you don't subscribe to it. I don't pretend to know everything. I just know what I know. Let me know what y'all think about this one, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace and love.